This House calls upon the Prime Minister, Mr. Wayne Martin, to give his constructive speech here.
Today we are faced with a lot of problems. And these problems cannot be easily resolved with just the help of if we are dependent with our government, which involves our policemen and other government agencies. So, a pleasant good evening to you all. And I am the Prime Minister of the government side. So, the government supports that all superheroes should be required to register their identities and superpowers for them to operate legally. So, the superpowers that we are talking about here are those people with extraordinary abilities. We are talking about those people with the capability that is more than those who are normal, like us. So, these kinds of people are those who wants to do good. No, thank you, please. Those who want to do good, these are the people who assumes power. And these extraordinary people should register in order to be part of such group, because these are the people with abilities more than others. So, the superpowers that we're talking about here are those with super strength. And their identities, this is what we call as, they're unique, they're what they really are. And we need to register them in order for them to be legally called, because they abide to the law. So, our legislation states that all superheroes should be registered to the government, and only 3 people know their identities. And for the information, everyone, these 3 people are those in the executive, legislative, judiciary. Only one person in the executive branch will know who this superhero is, or who these superheroes are, and one from the legislative branch will know who these superheroes are, and one from the judiciary. So the executive branch will serve as the commander to these superheroes. The executive will serve as the one who will become the general, meaning their head of what to do, meaning what the general will assess where they will be assigned, where these superheroes will be put into. And the legislative branch is where these superheroes should follow set of laws, meaning these superheroes also have their own limitations. And the judiciary is the one who will approve, meaning approve the set of laws to be abided by the superhero himself. We try to put meaning that all superheroes should be registered, because it is essential for them, it is a must that in order for them to legally operate, they must follow what is abide by the laws, because we are talking about the safety of the city and our country as a whole. I will talk about what the general model will be talking about, meaning we will also talk about that these superheroes will not only be the savior of the lives of people, but these people will benefit also themselves, because they will be given extra salary, and that will also serve as their extra job, because they will be benefited because they are part they're part of the government. Since they're part of the government, then they have also their part of the salary. So why require them to register? Because in order for them to be registered, then we know that there is public awareness. And if there is public awareness, then the people will know who the villain is and who the superhero is. So we can know the distinction between the two. So who is the bad and who is the good one. In this situation, then the people will have the opportunity to to know what they should be afraid of or what they should look into. They need to register because in order for the people to know, meaning the government, the policemen, our safeguard in our country, in our city, will know who to attack and not to attack. Meaning, we can save not only a life of one, but a life of a lot of people. Before a superhero can be registered legally by the law, we need there should be an extensive research background, because we don't only want a superhero just to be legally be put into law, legally be considered as a superhero. We need to know what's in store of him, meaning what is in him that can benefit our country. It is important for these superheroes need to be registered, because the government, the people needs to be aware. They need to be, it is advantage because they are seen on the spot. Meaning, it is advantageous because if they are registered, then the people know the people behind these stories. Behind these scenarios. So, thank you.
Speakers spoke for 7 minutes and 30 seconds. This House calls upon the Leader of the Opposition, Ms. Arian Crescino, to give her constructive speech.
Good evening, members of this House. Good evening to our adjudicator, to the members of the government side, and to the members of the opposition. I am Arian Crescino, your leader of the opposition. Together with me is Mr. Kiko Corpus, our deputy leader of the opposition, and Mr. Neil Napili, our opposition. Before I start, I would just like to rebut some points given by the government side. Now, they said that their legislation, they will include 3 people that will serve as the people who will know the information about these superheroes. So they will serve as witnesses about the information given by the superheroes that will register in order for them to be. Now, they have given the executive, legislative, and the judiciary people. Now, the thing here is that, what if the security of those people would be at risk? Because, as you can see, what if these officials would be used by the villains in their own advantage? What if at the same time they're used by the villains for their advantage, their safety would be at risk, and the information of the superheroes would also be at stake? Now you said that pre-registering would be extensive. It would be too long. Now, if registering or checking the background of the superheroes would take a longer time, it would take a longer time for heroes to save the people. How about the people? They will wait until those superheroes' backgrounds will be checked and given authority by the government. Their safety would also be at risk. How side would say no to the to require all superheroes to register their identities and superpowers for them to legally operate. We accept the definition given by the government side, and our legislation would be that superheroes can but are not required to register. Now, the superheroes, they are free to register their identities, their whatever they want, but they are not required. They can register if they want to. They have an option. So, in this legislation of ours, they are given the free will to decide if ever they would tell all the backgrounds. At least in our legislation, we are giving them the option of either letting the public know their information or keep it to themselves and keep it in their secrets. Now, the stakeholders included in this would be the family of the superheroes if they have, the superheroes, the society, the government, the villain, and the rights. I would be discussing the family of the superheroes if they have, how will they be affected? How will they be affected in this debate? The superheroes, while our deputy leader of the opposition would talk about the society, the government, the villain, and the rights. Now, my first point is our deputy leader of the opposition would talk about the disadvantages of registering the identities of the superheroes and the advantages of not requiring legislation. I will talk about superheroes being given their right to privacy, and what are the advantages of them not registering all the informations for them to legally operate. Now, these superheroes, they are still human. They are still people given the rights to keep the informations or anything they want to keep from the public. This includes their PIN codes, their address, the information about their family members, their personal backgrounds. Now, they have an option to keep that in their own. Now, if they would declare all these information, take for example their address. If they will be able to declare where they live in, people will have the chance to know where these superheroes are living. People, no, please take your seat. It would be harder for the superhero to have concentration in saving the people, because of course if people know where the superheroes are living, they have the informations of these superheroes, they're able to go there. They go there in fact and disturb the family members. No, please take your seat. Now, this is possible. People could have an access because again, people can still have an access even though there are only 3 people, because there are a lot of ways of people to acquire those informations. People could hire experts. People could hire labor in order for them to get those information. They're able to pay a lot of money. They are able to pay those. No, take your seat. They're able to pay those in order for them to get and when these informations are already given to them, it's not just they will keep them in their own selves. There is a chance that they will tell it to others, and then when these people tell it to others for their own privacy, this would be an advantage for them. This would be an advantage for the villain, and this would be another disadvantage for the superheroes. Now, personal life, if they fail to save a person, they're the only one to blame. Their family's reputation will not be at risk, as what I've said earlier, they're stakeholders here. So when these people know that this superhero this person is superhero, his family's reputation will not be at stake. If ever he fails to save that, his job would also be at stake. Take for example, Spider-Man. He is Peter Parker. Now, if he is unable to save another person, his reputation would be not so good. And then his job as a photographer, no one will trust him anymore. So how about his job? He's so poor. How can he earn for a living? Now, The second point is, what is the advantages for the superhero? Now, if superheroes, they're able to hide their identities. There is a lower chance of them being killed in assassination. They're able to free operate without the permission of the government. They are free and they're not restricted to operate. Now, this is advantages for the superheroes because if they feel free to save another people, they don't need the permission of the government for them to legally operate. They are free to save on their own. My next point, the other points would be discussed by the official. Thank you.
Speaker spoke for 7 minutes and
Oh my God, that's my longest time ever.
7 minutes and 28 seconds.